Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclo, and this is Let's Play Train Simulator, and we have the final of the first 8 Class 175 scenarios, I can't get the number out, coming up right now for you. This is a Taunton to Cardiff service, which means we're starting at Bristol Temple Meads, and of course we're ending the service at Cardiff. This is the final run of the day. We've already driven from Taunton, and traffic is heavy. We're going to need to remain vigilant of signals at all times. This makes sense because it is a 60-minute scenario covering the entire route, so I expect we're going to have some interesting things happening here. And I'm not looking forward to this level 5, so we're going to have to see what that is next time. But we're also going to have a level 4 HST service, which I expect to have probably some problems just like this one did. So yeah, the next 2 scenarios I'm kind of a little leery about. I'm probably going to just do one at a time because I might need to put some invest some time into each to make sure I can give you a good demonstration of them. But let me actually point out that we're not going to be done with South Wales Coastal when we do this. We're going to be done for now. But keep in mind, we're going to have lots of ATW, the 158, the 143, with some rail fanning. We're going to have more scenarios on the full route to Bristol, or I mean to Swansea, sorry. We're going to have the 150 Type 2 scenarios. We're going to have a couple of extra scenarios, which I'm not sure offhand what these are. Oh, they're 150 Type 1. We're going to have the 67s. We're going to have more rail fans. We're going to have a scenario pack that uses the entire route, and then we're going to have duplicates of all these on the South Wales main line, which I think are the exact same scenarios, so nothing for me to really fuss about down there. So we got a lot of additional scenarios when we punch in the Swansea segment. This Cardiff section doesn't have a lot left, but the ATW scenarios are on only the Cardiff section. They don't show up on the full route to Swansea, so we're going to be coming back and exploring those at some point. I have not decided yet if I'm going to put the Armstrong Powerhouse versions of the trains on those. I have already seen a 158. I have already seen a 143. I may very well do that and show you those versions, just run these versions myself. And I may show you Armstrong Powerhouse versions. I have not decided yet. Definitely not 100% on my decision on that. So I'll let you know when I actually play them. But for right now, I'm thinking I may leave them as is, and I may just do other versions as a bonus. Or I may do one of them with the other versions as a bonus. I'll see what I want to do. Depends what I find in the packs, what I want to put in, and see how easy this changes, and see if everything still works. That's probably what it's going to come down to. In any case, let's go ahead and get into this Class 175 service today. 60 minutes from Taunton, aka Bristol Temple Meads, to Cardiff Central. Let's get going on this. First time seeing Bristol Temple Meads. I'm excited. Let's see it. Welcome aboard 2U20. Things are a little different today as you are covering a shortage of trains at GWR, Great Western Railway. Having run up from Taunton, the service will continue to Cardiff Central. You have the road into Bristol Temple Meads. Set the train up and get going when ready. Okay, which means right now, because basically we have to get going right now. So headlights are in some fashion on. We have some lights. Let's move the throttle up to a level 3 throttle and get ourselves moving. I want to give you a word of caution if you're ever going to play this scenario. In this scenario, the Class 175, if you save while at a stop with the doors open, and I don't know about with the doors not open, but definitely with the doors open, you're going to find that the game will have an issue. You're going to find that you're not going to be able to move when you go back into the scenario. This apparently happens on other routes as well with other trains. So saving at a station in this scenario, not a good idea. You want to save on the move, or at least not with your doors open. So I'll have to figure out how to be a little creative with my shots in order to do that. But whatever ends up happening, we're going to do it. The other possibility is just don't screw up, which did happen once already. I was already doing a good run without screwing up, and then I screwed up on the last segment. So I can probably do it without screwing up too. There's that possibility. But in any case, yeah, you don't want to have to lose your entire game to a train not being able to run. So be careful if you play this scenario not to lose your entire game by saving at a station. Save on the run. Even if it's just a mile per hour. So we are arriving at our first stop, Bristol Temple Meads. Once the doors open, there we go. There's our first stop. Passenger boarding is complete. Proceed when ready. It's going to say that every time. I'm not going to read it every time, so be aware of that. So we're not going to waste time with that every time it comes up. I can't proceed when ready, though, which is why I find that comical that we're being told to proceed when ready. If we were able to proceed when ready, we would be able to ignore this red signal in front of us. We cannot do that. So we have to wait for this red signal. I'm going to pull up towards the end of the platform. And if for some reason it has not changed by then, I will have to stop at the end of the platform. But for right now, we can proceed. Just a little bit. Now, this is the hardest section of the run. If you can get through this section of the run, the rest of it, by comparison, is much, much easier. We have our yellow, by the way. The rest of the run is much, much easier. So, if you can get through this portion, you're in good shape. You notice the green signal just changed ahead as well. The second signal is the one that we're following. So we have our green signal. We can technically proceed at line speed at this time, but I'm going to be very, very cautious about that because we were told to expect delays. And look at the time of arrival at Filton Abbey Wood. We're going to be 10 minutes getting there. I have a funny feeling that this is going to be a slow drive because that's basically, for the 4 miles we have to go, that's basically less than a mile every 2 minutes. So we're going a little slow to start out here. That's exactly what we're going to do. Go slowly. Because why not? Already we have a yellow signal, which I did fully expect at this point. Next signal block is a little longer, so I do expect it's going to probably be a yellow when we get to the next one as well, but it could be a red. I did not see the signal change. I looked away for a second, so I might have just missed it. But I don't believe the signal changes at this point. I think it is still a red at this stage. I think after a moment it will clear up here. So it is an adverse signal, that much I know. That is a red signal. We're coming very close to it. I did not think we were going that fast. There's the yellow. I knew we were close. I just didn't realize how close. So that means that the train ahead of us just cleared the signal that is 0.3 of a mile away, and that's a fairly lengthy signal block. So we're going to just keep our speed very low right now. There's no reason to increase our speed. Quick peek at the map to see where we are, by the way. We are way down here near Bristol Temple Meads. We are approaching the first station, which is not a stop, at Lawrence Hill. That is going to be coming up. So, did I go slow enough to have the signal change? We're going to find out. So you can see Lawrence Hill Station beginning up ahead. I see a yellow signal, so I'm going to increase my speed a little bit now. I should be able to get away with that at this point, I hope. Going to move it up to about a 20 to 25 at this stage, I believe. I think that's a good estimation of where to go. So I'm holding at 23 for a moment here. increase speed again. I believe I can get away with it now. Looking at the time and the distance we have left to go, we better be able to get away with it now. Because we're going way too slowly at this point. This should be Stapleton Road. We have an adverse signal up ahead. It is a yellow. Still a single yellow, so we are still not doing too badly, I guess. But I feel like we have been going a little slowly, so I am punching up to 40 for a moment. Maybe a little higher, and then I might slow it back down just to be sure that the signal ahead is actually going to be yellow when we reach it. So I've hit 43 for a moment. That's going to help my ETA just a little bit. That goes toward, that line you see branching off, I believe, goes towards the Bristol and Avonmouth route. There's another line coming from the other end of the route, back into the Diamond interchange that you're going to see heading towards Bristol Parkway. Let's lower our speed now because we are technically still under caution, so I'm going to lower my speed at this stage. That is a yellow, so I'm going to speed back up for a bit. So I'm going to get above the 30 marker, and then we're going to slow down a little bit to get into Filton Abbey Wood, because we're going to have possibly... What just happened up there? I thought the signal changed to a green, then went back to yellow. That is the strangest... Okay, maybe it was just some speck of rain that obscured the vision for a moment. That is strange. I'm going to go ahead and go a little above 30 now, as I was just saying. That'll get me back into a good average stopping point, because we got a long signal block here, and as the signal appears, I'm going to be able to go ahead and start reducing that speed again to make sure I don't break any red signals. We got a mile ahead of us here. The red is before Filton Abbey Wood, if there is a red. I have a feeling now we are probably going to be okay. I'll find out when we get up there. We're going to see a repeater signal either way. It will tell us what's going on with the signal ahead. So it's going to be a double repeater signal. One repeater is the main signal, main track. The other is the junction signal, indicating that the junction signal is activated. You're going off the main track. You get one repeater for each. If they're both horizontal, you stop up ahead. If one is diagonal, you keep going. I'm going to start slowing down a little bit now just to be safe. We're going to have to slow down for the stop anyway. Here come the repeaters. We're getting a warning on the repeaters, and it looks like both are horizontal. So at this time we still have to stop. I'm not going to increase any speed past that because they did not change. But I have lowered my speed a little bit, and we are able to come around the corner very carefully now. I should see the signal coming around the corner. There is a red there. So why did I increase speed? I don't know. But that is a red signal that you can see up ahead. There's a yellow signal. I'm going to go ahead and pull into Filton Abbey Wood, and we're going to make our stop. We are cleared for entry. That means I'm assuming the train ahead of us must have stopped at Filton Abbey Wood. It's continuing on its own right now. It doesn't have to follow a train like we do. Just saying. So we are adjoining the Filton Abbey Wood platform. I want to get a little further in if possible. And then hit those brakes completely. This may be a good spot to stop right here, so I'm going to do that. Doors are going to be open. Arrival at Filton Abbey Wood, Platform 3. Yeah, generic message. So we are still driving under caution at this time. We had a yellow signal coming in. We did not get any kind of a green prior to arrival, which would have made us late if we did, because it would have been past when we had to be here. So we're going to continue on and expect a red up ahead, which means I'm going to drive a little more cautiously now than I normally would. Our next stop is Patchway, as we leave Filton Abbey Wood. I'm going to take the throttle down just a little bit now. I'm actually going to cut it off completely at this point. Make sure that we do not have a red ahead. We should not. There's no station in between, and the train should have cleared the next signal. I suspect we're going to have a green at this point, because the train should have gone ahead, should have gone 2 signals by now. And as we come around the corner, sure enough, it is green. We can technically proceed at line speed. We're going to go ahead and bump our speed up to at least a little bit of a higher speed right now. Not necessarily line speed, but a little higher. Because we have a 50-mile-per-hour speed restriction up ahead prior to Patchway, we're going to go ahead and not exceed 50 miles per hour at this time. Just seems like a good idea right now. We already have a yellow signal here, so fortunately we're making a stop. And the train ahead of us must have stopped at Patchway as we stopped at Filton Abbey Wood, so we are no further behind it than we were before at this point. I might be hitting those brakes a little early actually, so I'm going to take those back off. Now I'm going to start hitting the brakes again. Let's try a 38% application to see what that does. It's working a little too strong, so I'm going to ease it off to a 24% for now. Now I'm going to go ahead and ease it back up. Actually, I'm actually coming in way too slow at this point, I would say. So this is not a good slowdown at all on my part. Not the most accurate slowdown. So we're going to work with that now. Going to bump it back up to a 38% brake application. I have a feeling we are just going to come in way too slow. So I'm going to release now to come in a little quicker. And then I'll hit the brakes again to stop now. I'm going to be on time no matter how I do it, so I'm still going to be alright. Just not the best slowdown, that's all. So we are in the platform, we can stop. Arrival at Patchway Platform 2, halfway through our stops. Leaving Patchway, our next stop is Severn Tunnel Junction Platform 3. We need to be there at, looks like 18, or 15, or why did I say 18? 15:33. We have a train coming along, by the way. That's the Swansea to London Paddington HST service. We're going to make our way from Patchway, and we have to keep in mind one important aspect about this part of the journey. We're going to have to go through the Severn Tunnel. Only one train is allowed in the Severn Tunnel at any time, and it's about, I want to say, about a 4-mile tunnel that you're talking about here. So the train ahead of us would have probably proceeded past the next station, so we should not have a huge problem right now. So the train we're following is probably going to be in the Severn Tunnel as we speak. Let's just make sure the signal ahead is clear. We'll take a look at the train ahead just so you can see what I'm referring to. That looks like a green signal. So I'm going to let the speed keep going up, and we're going to go ahead and peek ahead. That's where we are. So if we peek ahead here, you can notice that's a train on the other track we're going to pass in a moment. But up here, around the area of the Severn Tunnel, we're going to see this train is going to be going through. So he's going to go through the Severn Tunnel, and you can see the Severn Tunnel up, down is right there. He'll eventually come out here. We're going to do the exact same thing and come out on that side. So we could be waiting for him if he is still in any way in the tunnel. He is in the tunnel right now. So at this stage, I would expect a double yellow around the area preceding the tunnel. Welcome to the Patchway New Tunnel. The Patchway New Tunnel. So I'm taking the throttle off completely at this time. I only went to a level 2 throttle because I expected to potentially have a signal at the Severn Tunnel, so I was expecting that. So I have gone ahead and removed the throttle now in order to allow the downhill to gain me any additional speed. Yellow signal. That's a double yellow. So we're going to drop our speed just a little bit here to give us a little more opportunity to see a green or a double yellow with perhaps the next signal. If we can pull that off, then we're good to enter the Severn Tunnel. So I've gone ahead and released the brakes back to about a 60 mile per hour speed. We're going through Filton right now. The Bristol to Avonmouth route is to our left, a little bit to the south. There used to actually be a connection right in this area that connected to that line. No longer there, obviously. I've talked about before. We have a green signal. Forward! That warning, by the way, was for the 75. We're only going up to 75 right now, and we're going to need brakes. We've got fun brakes to adjust right now. So we have a green signal on the Severn Tunnel. We are currently slated to arrive a minute and a half late. I'm not happy about that, so we're going to try to gain some speed in the Severn Tunnel. Rather gain some time, not some speed. I got lots of speed. What this tells me is I probably cut off a little too much on the speed coming into the Severn Tunnel. I probably cut too much speed back. That, or I was going too quickly coming in, and therefore, because I had to cut back, I lost a little bit of time there. In a real life scenario, if you're a minute late, it's not usually a big deal. Things happen. You have to wait for a signal. Oh well. In here, it's a different story. It can lead to outright failure of a scenario in standard mode, or just a loss of points in career mode. One reason I still like career mode, you can complete the scenario just not with a perfect score. In standard mode, if it's timetabled, you lose completely. You have to do it all over again if you want to get the tick. We're going to watch for the blue signals to come along. The single blue signal should be coming in momentarily. When we see that, we're going to go ahead and relax the brake. It should be coming right there. I see it right now. So I'm off that area now. I'm going to relax the brake like I said. You can see the double blue signal coming up now. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and put the throttle up to a level 4 maximum throttle as we start climbing the one in 90. We shaved a full minute off our time, it looks like. That's pretty good. So if we can hold this on the way up, then we'll be in good shape. The speed limit is going to drop to 70 as we leave the Severn Tunnel, but we have to stop there because that's right before the station. So if we're actually going 70 as we hit that sign, we're going to blow right past. So we're going to ignore that 70 for now. It's not going to mean anything to us because it's going to be much slower by the time we get there. As we leave the tunnel, I'll start slowing down. Actually, you know what? I take that back. That might be too early to slow down. Okay, I'm going to go for it right now. 32% brake application. Let's try to slow down. Still a good pace right now. Differential is 14. I'm going to actually add a little more brakes now. I'm going to ease them back off. We have a red at the end of the platform, so we have to stop before the end of the platform. That's fine. We're making a stop here anyway. We have a few seconds to make the stop here before we're considered late. doors are open. Arrival at Severn Tunnel Junction, platform 3. Leaving Severn Tunnel Junction. Our next stop is Newport, and we are going to be there in about 10 miles, a little less than 10 miles. And because we are going to have a nice long drive ahead of us for 10 miles, we're going to have some of this drive in a 90 mile per hour area up ahead. And we only have to be there in about, 10 minutes. So we're probably going to be able to make this stop very easily, provided we don't have any major delays along the way. And the only goal I have for myself is to not speed at this point. Now, you're looking at the ETA right now, and you're probably saying, Psych, you're going to be 3 minutes late at this point. Don't worry, that'll change. You can see the 90 up ahead. Now that 40 you might have seen on the HUD before the stop at Severn Tunnel Junction, that is probably a train, a freight train I'm guessing, that was taking the relief line. So you were temporarily seeing the junction over to the relief line, and that line is 40 miles per hour. You saw that in the last scenario. We took a freight train up to Severn Tunnel Junction where we are now on this line. About 2 lines over actually. Now, I should have been going at a level 4 throttle. Why I wasn't doing that, I have no idea. That may cost me a little bit of time. But as we get up to 90, we're going to start shaving those seconds off. 1.5 minutes for every mile. Or 1.5 miles for every minute, I should say. We're going to shave that time off. We're already shaving that time off. We're only going 75. So I've dropped the throttle to a level 3 throttle. We're still gaining speed at roughly the same pace, maybe slightly slower than we were at level 4 throttle. I'm going to have to drop that down to a level 2 throttle and eventually a level 1 where we're actually going to lose speed. So I'm going to actually start preparing to do that now because we are at 88 miles per hour. We are at a good butter zone for speed right now as we are just melting those seconds away. We're melting 10 seconds off the ETA for every 15-20 seconds of actual driving, so maybe a little longer than that. So do the math. We are going to be on time. We just dropped down to 1148, now hitting 1147. Or sorry, 1146 heading, or 1546 heading. I can't say numbers today. We just dropped down to 1545 from 1546. There you go. That's what I'm... Where did I get 11 from? Okay. Gonna go ahead and put the little flake of speed back on here to keep it going as fast as we can. You might have noticed the throttle doing some very weird things there. All of a sudden it just started gaining. And now we're being warned of a 75 up ahead, so we are going to go ahead and slow down anyway. I'm doing a casual slowdown here. I'm going to increase the brakes as we get closer to the signal in case we're not down enough. We may be okay though. It's going to be very close. You know what? We're going to get down in time. Plenty of time. I'm actually going to ease the brakes off a little bit. There we go. There's a 40 coming up as well, so I'm going to prepare for that in a moment. For right now, I'm going to keep the throttle idle. We're going to be at Newport in 2 miles. And a train just went by somewhere. I was watching the stats, so I can't tell you where that was. Newport's going to be on the HUD in just a moment, actually. We need to start slowing down to 40 very quickly. So I'm going to start dropping that speed. My pace for slowdown might be a little bit slow. I'm a little slow on slowing down. Figure that one out. We're getting the warning for the 40 now. We might get down in time. I think we're going to be down in plenty of time at this point, so I'm going to ease the brakes off a little bit. Yeah, we're still going to be down plenty of time. I'm easing it off even more. So I was coming in a little too slowly there. We're gonna have to hit the 30 a lot sooner than the sign though. So we are gonna start hitting the brakes for Newport very, very soon. So we're going to start dropping just a little bit for the 30. I'm not dropping enough, so I'm going to add a little bit of brakes. And actually, I need to slow for the station anyway, so I'm going to add even more brakes. We have a full minute to make our stop, so not a problem. I'm going to ease off the brakes for a bit so we can easily glide in. I'm I'm coming in way too slow at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of speed back on to help me get in quicker. So we're now adjoining the platform, and we're going to start to slow down for our stop. We should be able to do that about now, so I'm applying the brakes. And as I do that, we see this gentleman walking by. I think he's over the line. We are arriving at Newport Platform 2. Leaving Newport Platform 2, our next and final stop for today's service is Cardiff Central Platform 7. I don't believe there are any termini platforms at Cardiff Central. I could be mistaken. Maybe there are off of the main line, but I know that there's at least 4 platforms that go straight through on each side of the relief lines, which are in the middle. So I'm not sure if there are any termini platforms, or if we're actually going into a termini platform even. It is possible, but I don't think there are. So we're going to come up to 30 miles per hour right now. We're going to eventually start inching up towards 50 miles per hour. And then 75, and then we're going to reach our top speed for today's journey at 95 miles per hour. We may not actually get up to that. It's just going to be our top speed limit. So there's the 50. You're probably looking at this saying I'm going to be 2 minutes late again. Au contraire, don't you worry. No problem. While we're going through the tunnel here, and I'm going to actually check the name of the tunnel because I keep forgetting it. That is not the name of the tunnel. The name of the tunnel is the Newport Tunnel. That makes sense. So as we go through the Newport Tunnel, I want to remind you, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. You can also support my work on Patreon and join our Discord server. I'm idling right now and I'm gaining speed. This is a little worrisome, so quick brake application to check myself. We are on a little bit of a downhill gradient, which is the cause of that, and I'm just making sure I don't speed. So I am fine now. We can now continue up to 75 and eventually 95 miles per hour. So I'm not even going to worry about the 75. This gives us a chance to check the lay of the land because Platform 7, I believe, is a new one for us. So let's just take a close look now that we're coming down through past the sidings here, and we're going past the Alexandra sidings. Here is a freight train. We're going to go and check out our final stop way down here. And as you can see, no termini platforms at Cardiff Central at all. Platform 7 is the one way down here, second one at the bottom. So we're going to be junctioning over to that platform. In the meantime, here we are. And HST service just going by. Heading towards Newport. Could also be going north towards Shrewsbury for all I know. I don't know. I didn't check which one it was, but I think the services here are not Shrewsbury services. I could be wrong. If it's a Holyhead service, it will definitely go north, without question. Because that is a way to Holyhead. Rather, it is the way to Holyhead. There are other tracks along the way, but unfortunately those other tracks are steam engine tracks. They're heritage railways, and they don't connect the regular services through those lines for obvious reasons. So that means the Conway Valley branch is also a bit of a sleepy branch to take there, because it really ends at those heritage railways, and there's nothing else for those trains from there on. So 95 is the speed limit. By the way, notice the ETA, we're getting very close to our equal time right now on the ETA and the actual arrival time required. We still have 7 miles to go, so yeah, no problem. No problem at all. So I'm dropping my throttle down to a level 2 at this stage, because I want to make sure we don't end up slicing over the speed limit. Our increase is palpable at this point at best. And as I go along in the 94s, I'm going to go ahead and drop to a level 1 throttle. I should be decreasing speed at this should be decreasing my speed at this point. At some point in the speed hemisphere in the 80s, holding level 1 throttle does nothing more than maintain your speed. So that's what we're going to be, we're going to look to lose a little bit of speed here at this point, because we're now above that hemisphere. And there's a 75 coming up anyway, so we're going to watch out for that anyway. I'm just going to idle the throttle right now because of that. We're now going to be early. I like that. As long as there's no delay for us getting into our platform, everything is good. We are still 5.5 miles away from our platform, so the 75 is a slower speed to travel. The 40 is going to be an even slower speed. There's another 175. So the warning was for the 75 that you heard a moment ago. That clearly is still a green signal up ahead, so we're getting dings for the green signals. We're down to 75. I am idling the throttle for a moment because I think level 1 will increase our speed again, so we're going to test that right now. Certainly. It is increasing our speed. That's what I expected. I believe those are some freight sidings over there on the side. I think that's where we started last time, in fact. Am I seeing a fence here? I could be mistaken. That might be where Magor Station was, actually. Magor is a closed station on this route. I mentioned it in a previous scenario at one point. And I believe that might be around where it is, because that's 5 miles out. And actually, maybe not. No, I think it's closer to Newport. No, I take back. It's closer to Newport. Might even be a different station I'm thinking of. Marshfield? That might have been Marshfield, actually. That was Marshfield. Magor is between Newport and Severn Tunnel, I think. So yeah, I think that was Marshfield that we saw. With the increased traffic they're expecting, they actually are building an expansion at Cardiff Central right now, I understand. They started in 2020. With the expansion, I'm surprised they don't reopen some of these. I'll be surprised if they don't reopen some of these other stations and make them stops along the line to ease traffic at the main station. Send some customers down to Marshfield with their tickets, and as an option to save a little money on the travel. Good way to do it. buck off your travel and go park at Marshfield. Oh, we buck more in parking, by the way. We'll give you the cheaper ticket. So we are slowly pulling our speed down to a 40 at this time. We are now a minute early. Our ETA is a minute early. Are you serious? Well, I was under by that point on the HUD, so I guess you're going to have... That was our 2-point leeway, because we're going to have the... We still have a perfect score possible. That was our 2-point leeway. We can't do that again. Can't do that again. That's probably a junction speed limit that we're being warned about. I don't think it's our speed. It's for a 40 anyway. I'm taking a little bit of a risk by slowing down a little bit now. This is probably a bad idea, given we have a mile and a half to go and I don't know what's ahead. But there is the 15 ahead. I knew we were going to have at least a 20 or a 15 coming up. So we are going to continue on this track to get to that 15 speed limit. We're going to slow down for that in a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and just accept the fact that I'm going 30 right now. I have no problem with that. Prevent any surprises later. But let's make sure we don't speed into that 15, even if the HUD is, especially if the HUD is incorrect. We're going to make sure we don't speed into that by accident. There's the platform beyond there, so I'm going to start slowing down for the platform as well. But I can do that once I'm within the 15. I only have to slow down for the 15 right now. The platform is still far behind. A full 0.2 of a mile, so we're not going to slow down from the 15 until we get closer to the platform. I expect a double yellow signal here. Some small brakes on right now. There's our double yellow. Coming in a little too slow, so I'm going to kind of just hold my speed for a little while here. Getting a warning for the 15 speed restriction coming up. I could have waited till then if I wanted to. There's an HST leaving Cardiff Central at this time. Fairly sure that is the service that was leaving. So I'm going to put a small brake application on. I'm going to go ahead and jump that up if I need to. I'm watching the pace, and no, I'm going to just go ahead and increase it because we're close enough. No chances. I'm not taking any chances. That'll do. So that's for our single yellow. We are now no further signals. We're going to stop at Cardiff Central Platform 7, and there is a red signal at the end of the platform. We should not reach that signal. We should stop within the platform. Across the yellow. We are being shown platform 7 on the indicator, by the way. I don't know if you noticed that. I didn't point it out. We're coming in a little too slowly at this point, so I'm increasing speed just a little bit. I did not mean to slow down completely. So back up to 11. May punch it to 12. Our ETA has been increasing now, so we should still be good, but we don't need to make it as close as we're about to make it, so let's not do that. Running 11 right now. So we have Junction over to where platform 7 is located. I have no idea what that noise is, but we are arriving at Cardiff Central right now. And I'll bring the train in view of the red signal at the end. As we look ahead, you can see that red signal right there. We are not permitted further access at this time. And that is that. That's the increase. I want a decrease. Whoops. Now that is that. So we're going to go slightly past the proper drop-off area here, but that's okay. That is the end of our service. As we arrive at Cardiff Central Platform 7, let's take a look at our train. So there we are. That is your first full look at the route all the way from Bristol to Cardiff Central. As you can see, we had a little bit of a delay coming up to Filton Abbey Wood, but after that, the delays kind of smoothed themselves out once we got through the Severn Tunnel. And it was a nice, smooth sailing ride from there. So a very, very nice scenario. Not bad at all, I would say, except for the fact that it's bugged. You can't use the save game from a stop at a station. Other than that bug, good scenario. If that could be in place, I would have been in this scenario a couple hours ago. So we'll deal with that. Great work. All tasks completed successfully. Let's see how well you... Well, yeah, that's a normal message. Anyway, like I said, like, follow, subscribe, all that stuff. And, well, follow is irrelevant on YouTube. That's more Twitch. But in any case, I will see you next time for scenario number 7. We're going to go back to the class 70 next time. And what are we going to do with that? I have no idea. We'll find out next time. I'll see you for that. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for you. Actually, I'm going to bring up the scoring screen first. Then we'll wrap it up. And there it is. The reason I want to bring up the scoring screen was to see if there was an achievement. And sure enough, there is. Round them up. Which I presume means score 5,600 points in the 8 career scenarios that come with the pack, which means get 700 on average for each. That average would not get you the achievement for the 750 each, obviously, so you have to do that separately for some of the scenarios, including that broken one. But other than that, we're going to go ahead and say that that is probably one of the premier achievements in this pack. We still have 2 scenarios to go. So I'm running a cool 5,978 right now. So I will take that with 2 scenarios to go. I just wish that the last scenario worked perfectly and I had them all perfect, you know? Anyway, we got our gold star. The reason we got our gold star is simply because we did get our speeding penalty, but we got our 1,000 points because the 2-point speeding penalty was able to come off there. I don't know how we got that speeding penalty. I thought we were within the 40. I didn't see a sign saying otherwise, so I guess the trigger zone for the 40 was a little early. Never trust the HUD. Always pull it down with a few seconds to spare on the HUD because you never know what you're going to see. So there you go. Anyway, have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you, you're part of the world. I'll see you next time for our second class 70 scenario on this route. And I'm Cyclone. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.